Okay, so I'm going to jump right into it. I'm not going to waste another minute of your time. I want to talk to you today about how I messed up here on this platform when I was an early YouTuber and still work in progress, a work in progress, even as we speak. Number one, the first mistake I made was when I was a very brand new YouTuber. First of all, it was like throwing myself into like this barrel of fish and not knowing how to get out of it. In a successful way. So I just want to say that. Back then, about 7 years back, there were very little gurus coming out and talking about ways to help your channel. Not like today. There's a lot of help out there today. And I'm so happy for for the newcomers that get to do this at this point. But back 7 years ago, there were a little bit of about a handful. They're great though. The ones that were there were great. They're still around, lasting power. But I want to talk to you today specifically in my case. Number one, in my case, in the early days here, I paid little or zero attention to my video analytics. Okay. So if you're a content creator and you're listening to this and you're brand new at it, I know, believe me, my empathy is absolutely with you. All this terminology, you go to the, as we call sometimes, the back office end of things, and you look around, there are these words and phrases that you never heard of in your life. At least I'm speaking for myself, and I'm sure for many others, things that like zero sense is made, and you're looking at these charts and graphics, you're like, what am I doing? So when that happened to me, of course, I got very overwhelmed and I overlooked it. And I says, when I take this thing a little more seriously, I'll look at it. But that was a mistake. You see, the time to have looked at it was at the time that the videos were created, to see where they're going and all that, all the good stuff, okay, to see the view count, not just see, people only concern themselves with how many subs they get when they're starting YouTube. I'm sorry to say that. We have so much to learn, so much trial and error. But one of the biggest mistakes I made was I paid very little or zero attention to the video analytics. Okay. And I don't do that anymore, of course. I don't do that anymore, of course. But I did do that. So what happened? I researched and I learned. It took a long time. I didn't reach out to anyone. I didn't really know anybody on this platform at that point. We're talking about the very early brand new days. Next, okay. So also originally, I did not have a clear vision for my niche, my channel niche. Okay. And that's okay because the first, they say like 100 videos, you're going to maybe randomly do this or that, or you think you really know clearly where you're at, and that's fine. First 100 videos that they remind us, the gurus, that they're going to stink. Okay. So, and they're true. They're correct. I look at my early stuff. I want to just like bury my head in the sand. Go, who is that person? But with experience and time and learning and experience, again, the word experience, it gets better and better and better. So originally, my message, in my opinion, was unclear. I started off in one direction. And then one day it came to mind that I was showing a cash envelope system and it hit me. People were reacting to it. It says, wait a minute, people like this cash envelope system video. And I said, well, I like to talk about money. I know some stuff about money. And then I honed in on it. And I said, you know what? This is my niche. Or some people say niche. Niche. To me, it's all the same thing. But that's very important. But it comes to you in time. You will know. But some people know right before, like right off the bat, what they want to do. That wasn't the case for me. An unclear channel direction in the beginning. And then it hit me like, wait a minute, this is what I want to do. And then I stuck with it. The next screw up, though, was my channel name. Well, I entered only a personality name, but it wasn't really a screw up because I didn't know where I was going with it originally. So I just called myself Jan from New York City. Well, that might have worked for the first 100 videos, but not really. Jan from New York City, so what? So what about Jan from New York City? And by the way, this is a really big mistake for folks that are new doing channels, have a clearer definition as to what your channel stands for. All right, Jan from New York City. So what? What about Jan from New York City? Then I honed it down and narrowed it down to the next phase. Then I switched a couple of years later to Jan from New York City saves money. Aha, that makes a ton of sense, right? Because I was working with the saving money brand, okay? And that, meant that. But then I wanted it to be even more than that, okay? Then a few years after that, I changed it to the save money and more with Jan. I just didn't want to be boxed into only talking about saving money because there are sometimes psychological things that affect how we take care of or manage our money. Okay, so I wanted the world to open up the door for more possibilities because the world really is our oyster. So not only do I save money, I like to give saving money tips, right? Save money and more with Jan. That and more is really important. It may sound like just a little bit, a couple of words at the end of the title of the channel name. No, that little bit of leeway, okay? But it shows the viewer or the listener that saving money, of course, is the main thing that I'm talking about. But then there's also the and more part, the and more part of my show. Sometimes I'll talk about a recipe. Sometimes it has nothing to do with frugality. Sometimes it has to do with method. Or sometimes I'll just tell a story about something from the past. I want to keep that window of opportunity going. That's really, really important for me. So your channel name is nothing to mess around with. It's really, really important. I do see some young channels, like there'll be a name and maybe a number, and it doesn't tell the viewer or the listener what your channel stands for. So it's, it could be a little bit confusing. We're all works in progress, and these are just completely suggestions, okay? And of course, there goes the bird clock. I can't even plan it that way. It just happens that way. All right. The next thing that I messed up is that I didn't maximize to the best of my ability the wonderful, wonderful options and features. And I still have to work on it. We're all works in progress, okay? So I could look back at my old stuff, and then I could look back at like the more, in the medium, middle of it rather, and then like to the moment of now and go, wow, what a real, I don't know, evolution. I don't know. Evolution is the right one on that one. But the thing is this, as long as we're going into the direction of improvement, but not maximizing enough of the features, not using the community tab more often. Some people use their community page or community tab. When believe me, trust me on this, I didn't have the option until I hit 1,000 subs, by the way, to get the community page. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The folks of right now are very, very fortunate. They get the community page immediately. Even as of like a couple of years ago, like maybe a year and a half or 2 years back, you had to have five. Then they loaded the requirements to 500. Now it's just get in there and you got the community page, which I think is great. So I couldn't use my community page until I hit my 1,000 subs, which, by the way, was a fun challenge. That took me a good, I don't know, year and a half to 2 years. I see so many videos. Oh, I hit my 1,000 subs in 3 weeks. God bless you. God bless you. God keep you. And I mean that really from the bottom of my heart. But today there are a lot more creators making informational videos to help the new person, which is really, really good. Not like back in my day. And they switched around a lot of things because when I started making videos, okay, I started making videos in July of 2018. There was like all this like I don't know transition going on. So it was really weird. I was getting mixed messages, and of course, being in that barrel of fish and not understanding anything, it felt really overwhelming. I'm not going to lie to you. It was like, what am I doing? um, the best thing I could suggest is what everyone says: focus on your titles, focus on your thumbnails. I still have a lot to learn about thumbnails. Sometimes my thumbnails could be great. Sometimes my thumbnails are just like, oh, well, I'm just putting up the thumbnail. In the very, very beginning, a lot of times people don't understand how it works, when you're uploading, and that you could choose, a thumbnail that they make versus a customized thumbnail that you make. There are so many parts, moving parts to becoming a YouTuber. It's not just clicking a button and speaking into the camera. That's the easy part, in my opinion. And I'm not even a camera person. So I'll do like both sides to make everyone a little bit of Deli Select happy. But they do say when you try to make everyone happy, no one's happy. I sort of agree with that. But I still like to give the variety. Okay. Has it yielded much in terms of revenue? Eh, but I never complain. I never complain. I do enjoy giving messages, and that's really important to me. Giving the messages is really, really important to me. I don't give advice, and I make dang sure I say it constantly. I don't know how many times I could say it. And sometimes people are so sweet, they want to say things like, thank you for the advice. I don't give advice. I just offer messages of past experiences or experiences of friends or anything or things that I've researched. So I just offer information that's out there or been there. Okay. I'm just offering messages, and that's pretty much it. Extract what you want from it and utilize it to the best of your capability. And that's amazing. Let me see. Experiment with the length of time, for example, that you want to produce a video for. Some of your audiences prefer a 5-minute video. Some audiences prefer, at the very least, if they're going to click on, at least a 10-minute. I like to go somewhere in between sometimes because not everybody has enough battery life on their phone to hear a video. You have to be careful and mindful of thumbnail clutter, because if you're looking at it from a phone, you really can't see the thumbnail. If you're looking at it on TV, literally, like when you beam it over to your TV screen and people can see it clearly, that's different, or your computer screen. You see where I'm going with this, okay? The bottom line is just be yourself. And the worst thing, in my opinion, like when you're performing, because it is, after all, a performance. I know it sounds so weird. I hate putting it that way because I just feel like I'm talking to you. And that is exactly what I want to come across as. I speak as I think, and that's how it works for me. I do, not for this show. This show is completely spontaneous ad lib. I didn't write anything down, but I could tell you this much. It's really, really important, like in general, to have a structure for your show. Okay. What do I mean by structure? You don't have to write an entire show. Write down bullet points. Like for me, like reading off a teleprompter for me, Jan, might work for others, and congratulations. But for me, Jan, to me, it sounds too, I don't know, like too TV-ish. I want to, I just want to, I can't put any plainer, just like be myself. And for me, being myself is what works. But I do like to have bullet points of information. Like let's say I'm doing a listicle, like 10 ways to A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Well, I'll write down the most important points, okay? But it's not memorized. It's not, like reading off a prompter, okay? But it's important to have your list with you. So just in case an idea slips your mind, and also to make sure. Now, going live, for anyone that is trying to get their watch hours quickly, that's brand new. And the gurus taught me that, and it still holds true today. Go live to increase your watch hours. Okay, that's really, really important. Go live to increase your watch hours. So I had my hours way, way ahead of time before I had my subs. Most people have it the other way. I had my watch hours, my 4,000 watch hours, way, way, way before. Okay. And same thing holds for our dear friend everywhere with Steve Young 74. He's had his watch hours since like forever ago. If you recall, Steve used to go live a lot. Remember that? Okay. Even I used to go live a lot. But I'm not too much of a fan any longer for going live. It's just, it could be a bit much. Just telling you my feelings. But as far as a tool to get your hours, I say go for it. And I know that for those that are not content creators, you're like, Jan, will you please go back to talking about frugality? I know, but this is kind of like an end more part of a video on this, in this aspect. I really want to give this important messages of, things that I messed up on. But I don't regret for one moment any of it. Everything that I didn't do and I learned that I had to do, it came with time, effort, research, and experience. Was it worth it? If I help one person per day, okay, with one video per day, but I do two videos during the week. So I do a bunch of videos during the month. And if I help one person each day and I'm on every day of the year, okay, guess what? I helped at least 365 people. Now I'm on almost 7 years. So that means that in all probability, I helped over 2,100 people over time. That is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, if I help one, yeah, that I made it. It made my day. But if I help more than one in the same day, amazing. But Jan, you talk like you know so much, but yet your subscriber count could be a little better. Absolutely, it could be a little better. And I'm working on ways to get it to be a little better. But to be honest with you, my particular channel runs more deeply than it does widely. So while I might not be so, big, big, big in the width department of, having a ton of subscribers, but I do believe that the folks that are here and then come back and they come back and they come back, you cannot put a price tag on that because my goal also is to build a community. And that's really, really important. Well, thank you so much for being here. And I really do appreciate your time. But I would also appreciate if you click like, emphasize to the folks to click like, because 90% of the time, the folks listening do like the video. And it is amazing for anyone that maybe, well, it's not their cup of tea, but if they watch the entire video, that's extremely amazing. But if you did like the video and if you got value, not just click like, just a click like. I want it to be a sincere like from your heart. If you enjoyed this video, if you're an early content creator, please click like. How about that? I appreciate it. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, if you'd like to, thank you for considering subscribing to the channel, or you simply could subscribe. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care of yourself. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart at the end of all of my videos. Take good care of yourself and your amazing family.